What's poppin', people? Another episode of So That's How You Feel? It's podcast, myself. If you here, then you should know my name. It's Comedian Lab Love. Joining me today, this episode, my man Corwino.
Yo, what's up, man?
Corwino. And my man Marvin Hunter, aka the Grumpy Uncle.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we jump right into it. So today we're going to talk about happiness. One of the things I think that I think it's a lot of unhappy people. I think there's a lot of unhappy people, and they struggling to figure out how to be happy. And I think one of the problems with them being unhappy is I don't know if a lot of people really know what it means to be happy. I think a lot of people are enamored with the idea of what happiness looks like, or what they think happiness look like, i.e. having money. Some people think they got to have kids to be happy because your life ain't fulfilled or full unless you got a family and kids, but that ain't necessarily the formula for everybody. So that's what I want to talk about today. Just happiness. How every aspect of it. How can you be happy? What does happiness really look like? And why you think people not happy? And what are people doing to be unhappy? And can you make other people happy? You know, so that's it. So what y'all?
A lot of questions.
Yeah, hey man, we got a lot of time. So we got a lot of time. So
I think first of all, this here is causing unhappiness.
Okay, cell phone,
social media, and it just because everybody looking at what everybody else got. And you judging everybody else, but why can't I have that?
Right.
Maybe that ain't for you to have.
Yeah.
And plus, they lying. You know,
right.
That part.
Yeah, everybody want to put forward their representative and show how lovely their life is. Do some digging, man. Their life ain't like that. You want to, you be able to put your husband up. This my king. We know he just put you in the hospital last week. You know what I'm saying? So
he the king of swing.
Yeah, king of swing.
Yeah,
put your guard up.
You know what I'm saying? People focus more on social media and what they see and want to aspire to be like somebody else, but maybe that ain't what God got for you.
Speaking of God, so everybody know Corwin is a pastor, which is one of the reasons why I brought him on here, because I definitely want to make sure, me and Marvin for the streets. So I want to make sure that the pastor is on here to keep us on the roads. I know for a fact my opinion is not necessarily going to always be the godly. Sometimes it lines up with that, but sometimes it ain't necessarily what Jesus would do. But Corwin definitely can let us know. Nah, I get it, but yeah, a little off from the Lord's way.
You swerved off the road a little bit.
Yeah. So, what you think?
I mean, I think the whole issue is that happiness is an emotion.
Right.
And it's emotions are fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so we often try and base life on happiness. Happiness is what's happening in the moment.
Right.
And if you're gonna live life like that, then you're gonna always be going wherever the wind blowing, that's where you're going. And so I think most biblically, joy is what,
right.
Joy is a fruit of the spirit. And so joy, happiness is what's happening in the moment. Joy means that I'm finding joy, I'm finding peace, no matter, in the middle of what's happening, what's going on, And so, so I think that's the biggest problem is that we're trying to classify or make this momentary thing a lifelong thing.
Okay.
It ain't meant to be.
So from a biblical perspective, is joy and happiness, those aren't the same thing from a biblical perspective?
Not the same thing. No.
Okay.
No. So that's what I'm saying. Like when happiness comes out of the word happen.
Yeah.
Like momentary. So
okay.
And I'm trying to find this emotion. I'm trying to mark this emotion in my life in this particular moment, and I'm trying to actually stretch it out longer than it's intended to be.
Okay. All right. I think too, so many people are looking to find happiness from something outside of them.
That's a good one.
I don't think something outside of you could make you happy. I think you have to find a way to make yourself happy and be happy in however however that is, and be at peace with whatever you're doing to make you happy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people do stuff that they think make them happy, but on the inside, they really ain't at peace with what they doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I eat a gold digger chick. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting them, and then you think you happy, you taking all these trips, but a lot of times at night, you look down on yourself internally. Now you'll never tell nobody else.
Right.
But internally, you like, man, am I really like? What does this say about me that I just kick it with these dudes for their money?
But I think that to like what you're saying, how people, you social media, you had this one look you portraying to everybody else, but when you at home, you broken like a mug, But the thing that people often, we ain't okay with not being okay.
True.
But that's part of life.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna go through life and always be good.
Yep.
And so if I'm gonna operate like that, then that means that I'm gonna fake, live in this jaded world. And also what I'm gonna live out is too, my happiness depends on you making me happy.
Yeah.
And so if you ain't doing what I think you should, I think that's the heart of the cancel culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if people aren't making you happy, then it ain't that maybe I'm not doing something wrong, right? It's you're doing something wrong because you're not making me happy.
For me, a lot of time, happiness is a choice. Like in certain situations, man, I choose to be happy. I choose to. I tell my wife this all the time. Like if I had a anniversary or something, and we going out, this is a good occasion. Ain't nothing finna bother me. I'm not finna let nothing. So that'd be something really bad to upset me. How my wife, the waitress ain't doing what she's supposed to do. She'll let that
just throw her whole
thing off. And I'm telling her, I choose to be happy today. This is a good day. So I do that sometimes, man. And for me, happiness is freedom of movement. It ain't material things. I just want to be able to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
If what I want to do just sit my ass on the couch and do nothing, then that's what I want to do. But it's just everybody's happiness is different. But definitely, that's why I tell young guys today: if you with a woman and she say your job is to make me happy, run.
Get out of there.
Run.
Okay.
Your job is not to make her happy. She has to make her happy. You can provide a neutral, protective environment, but your job ain't to make her happy.
Yeah. So why do y'all think so many people are emotionally attached to somebody else's opinion about them and controlling their happiness? Like what Marv just described. Somebody could throw your whole day off and your whole persona off by something simple. It's like, why do people attach themselves or allow someone to have that type of control over their happiness? You know what I'm saying? Just over their very being. Because I have a strong no F's given.
Right.
I have a very strong no F's given about your opinion about me personally. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And not that I'm human, so I hear the noise sometimes, but at the same time, I refuse. I'm like Marvin. I refuse to let you control how I'm feeling today.
Right.
I refuse to give you that type of power over me. And I think some people do themselves a disservice by giving other people that type of power over their happiness. I wake up happy every day, and
especially if it's somebody you ain't gonna never see again.
It don't
that part.
That's what I don't be tripping with people like. So you ain't finna never see this person again after the day.
Yeah.
And you letting them get you like this.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy to me.
I think it says so much. Oftentimes, if you could look back into the history of that person, the baggage that they carry, it's so much of that. Most people are emotionally illiterate.
Yeah.
Meaning like
that's deep.
Meaning that most people, and I'm saying like, and I think even if you are somewhat emotionally illiterate, there can be just hard times you go through in life where you still kind of struggle. Right. I think we all struggle with our emotions.
Right.
But many of us, if we never dealt with baggage in our lives, then we're probably not dealing with any emotions well. And so when somebody makes me feel some type of way, I'm not willing to deal with myself. So what? And this is some classes I took anyway. But
hey man, that's why you here. We ain't take them classes because you took the class.
But it's the whole thing when they talk about hurt people.
Right.
And so like when I'm emotionally illiterate and I'm not willing to try and figure out and articulate my emotions, many men, how we're taught not to deal with stuff,
Mhm.
And so what it says is, I'm not going to deal with it. You just said something to me that really pissed me off.
Mhm.
But instead of me saying, dang, Mar, dude, that hurt my feelings, dude.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And having an intelligent conversation about
Mhm.
it. You sitting there right there saying, this is how I feel. Now you're not giving Mar power
Mhm.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're actually owning what you feel, and then I'm gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
And have a conversation. Most of us gonna be like, you say something to me, F you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we just go, and then it's like, let's have a non-intelligent emotional war right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, that right there. Just
Yeah.
I got this new joke that I'm working on. And I say sometimes black people, we get in trouble because we always feel like we got to let this ninja know.
Yes.
We got to let this ninja know. We
Yeah.
can't just, we can't say, ma'am, excuse me, the line started back here. That's not good enough. You got to let her know,
Yeah.
Anybody disrespect me by jumping me in line, we got to let them know.
And a lot of times, when we think somebody disrespecting us, they ain't thinking about you.
They not thinking
They
about you.
just
so
in
many
their
times.
head. They in their head. They might be inconsiderate and indifferent to things, but it ain't personal towards you. They ain't even thinking about you,
Dude.
But you took it to where it's a personal
Yeah,
attack.
yeah, it's
He
personal.
got me effed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I was in India, and this was part of the culture. Which at first, if my homeboy, he was from India, so he caught me before I got really mad. But their thing is like, if we in line, and if you don't go ahead and take your step up, and he's like right here, he just walks up. It's like, if you don't take control of it, make your movement,
yeah.
and it's just part of the culture, And so another Indian person ain't gonna get mad, be like, "Oh, miss my chance." For me, it's just like, at first I'm like, "Oh, this nigga, like,
yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, cool, and he had to tell him this is how and you just got to be assertive. This is
It's funny you say that. It's crazy that it's like that in India, because it's like that, I think, in most crowded countries. So in Korea, they like, in America, you bump somebody, it's like, yo, dude, you can't say excuse me or something like. In Korea, it's not that big of a deal to bump each other, because the culture is, it's so many people here. We are going to bump into each other.
Yep.
So if somebody bumps you, it's not personal.
Tokyo,
we just so happen to bump into each other. So in Korea, somebody will bump you, and it might seem hard because they in a hurry, but it wasn't personal. It's just the culture. And another Korean ain't like, why you bump me? They're like, he must be in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they're not thinking about it like that. So I wonder if that's like just a thing in countries, because Japan is crowded. Well, Tokyo is crowded for sure.
There ain't no such thing as personal space.
Right.
Your man be right here in the elevator on your face.
And they ain't thinking nothing about it.
And you over here heated.
Yeah.
Like, if this, I can smell his breath. Why is he right here? He ain't even think nothing about it.
Yeah.
He just here. But but it is like, I think that's a form of controlling your emotions in an environment where your emotions have to be controlled, because we on top of each other.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
It's just different culture. I remember I went to Australia, and I'm single at the time. I'm trying to holler to the chick, and man, I bought new shoes for the diploma. I bought it. She looked at me in front of me. Your shoes are ugly. I ain't know how to take that. I'm like, you know how much money I spent on these shoes? And I'm sitting there like, how am I supposed to take that? You know what I'm saying? She gonna come back and tell me, but get whack in front of everybody, like, but she didn't mean it like you horrible, but like what you do.
It wasn't about you.
It just was her
opinion about your shoes.
Those shoes are ugly.
Yeah. But it ain't got nothing to do with you.
Got nothing to do with me.
Got nothing to do with you. So okay, so when we say people are happy, do as humans, do we have this idea of what happiness looks like? Like, is happiness, is there a standard stamp for happiness? Like, but I think we act like that though. We act like, this dude got a big car and he happy that he got his big car, and because you don't have no car, you unhappy because you figuring your life don't measure up because you don't drive the car he has. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say we act like there's a standard. You have to do A, B, C, and D to be happy. And if you just got A, B, and you don't have C, you got D, then you still ain't happy because you don't have C. We as a species here in America, we act that way.
Most definitely. But even in that, if you had A, B, C, and D, and if you hear there's an E, then now you got to go after E.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's like keeping up with the Joneses. For happiness is a fleeting emotion.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna never be able to just catch it in a bottle and just keep it for forever.
And we being in the entertainment industry, we know people who got money and they miserable.
Exactly.
They life
Extremely
ain't no cookies and cream, man.
Right.
And you know, man, if I had all this money, I wouldn't be. Or you see somebody with a fine woman and he ain't treating right, man. She about crazy, dog.
Yep.
Don't look
Just
at that.
yeah.
The grass ain't green up here.
Yeah.
It ain't never green. As you learn that as you get older. The
Yeah.
grass ain't never green up.
And
bro.
how many times have you seen a person who ain't got much nothing
And be happy
and be just the happiest,
Just
joyful people?
The man be turning up, be
Yes.
super excited just about life and has nothing.
Yep.
I remember when I used to work at Lenox Mall. People that's watching, you know, here, Lenox is one of the bigger malls here in the city. When I used to work mall security.
I remember.
It was a chick named Fernandez. I never forget. Menasha Fernandez. And Fernandez had 5 kids. And her husband had died. So it wasn't like she had 5 kids, 5 different baby daddies, whatever. Her husband died. So that left her, and she was a housewife.
Wow.
When he died.
She had to go to work.
So that's how she got to be working at Lenox, and that's how that came about. But when I tell you, Menasha was one of the happiest people on the face of this earth, and she had 5 kids that she was struggling to take care of with this one little measly job. But she made adjustments to her life. You know, they wasn't shopping at Lenox; they was going to the Goodwill to get clothes and the Salvation Army, and she cooked dinner every day. It wasn't no turn up and let me get my hair done every week. She did her own hair, but she was happy. And she had nothing for them. I mean, as you know, society dictates, she had nothing.
Right.
But in reality, she probably had everything.
Exactly. That's the heart of joy.
Yeah.
And that's when we're talking about joy, because that's like it's no matter what life throws at me. And that's when 2023, the hardest year of my life. Hands down, I ain't never had a year like 2023. And it made me go talk to a therapist. And so into 2023 coming, and I'm trying to be a good Christian. And I sit down, I'm just writing out, like, dang, these things that happened, And I was writing it to my boy. I think I sent you the letter. Did I send you the letter?
I don't think you sent me.
Maybe I stopped because I sent it to my therapist and he called me immediately.
We talked about it. You didn't send it to me, but we talked about it.
Okay, that's what it was. And so, Mark, I'm writing down, and I'm trying to write it down for accountability's sake. And so I write down all these things. My father died. I mean, what my father first had in 2023 has a major stroke, went from able-bodied to 24-hour care, flipped out family. Family issues now come to light with all of this, all kind of stuff. 6 months, 6 months of hell, pretty much. On the day that he passes, I get laid off from a job. The morning I get laid off, he dies 5 hours later. Yeah, and then from there it was just family stuff. It was just the hardest year of my life. So I'm starting to write it out. I'm just trying to be present in it, and I'm trying to share it with people I trust. You know, to hold me accountable, because I felt myself going to F it, you know. And so I sent it to a couple friends first, and then I sent it to my therapist. He calls me immediately. He said, "Hey, let's talk. You know, the sofa's open tomorrow at 6, you know." And he just said something that was just so profound to me that I was writing all this stuff out. And he said, Corwin, all this stuff, he said, I'm not saying it ain't real and it don't hurt. He said, but it ain't related. And I was just like, ooh. He said, you know, your father dying, because what happened? My father died, my mama's sister died, and my father's aunt died. All of them close to. And this all happened within like a few months. And so he was like, Your father dying has nothing to do with your mama's sister dying, has nothing to do with Don dying, has nothing to do with the family issues you having.
Yeah.
He said the thing is that you have to be present in those individuals.
Yeah.
And that was just a game changer to me. Because how often we try and put all these stories together. We talk about how bad life is. But what it said too, and he said, what you're doing is building a narrative to take yourself down this road that ain't really real.
Mm.
And he said, you can't tell me that some good things hadn't happened between all those bad things.
Yeah.
So he's like, tell the whole story.
Right.
You know,
but you just latched onto all the negative pieces of the story and just totally ignored the positive, which by focusing on the positive, it would help balance everything out.
Menendez, or whatever you said her name was.
Gave her a name.
I'm sorry.
A Spanish name.
I'm sorry.
Fernandez.
I'm sorry.
Menasha Fernandez.
Fernandez, I apologize.
They killed their parents. You talking about Menendez, brother.
They was telling the wrong story too.
They were telling the end story to try to keep them out of jail. Yeah. So I think that's another thing too. I think when it comes to this whole little happiness thing, I think there's a lot of people out here who need help.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
And they won't go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
To get the help that they need.
Yeah.
And so you walking around with issues and you searching for happiness here, there, and creating these situations. And what you're doing is you creating pitfalls because you falling deeper and deeper because all these endeavors to be happy, they ain't the right road. The right road is, like you said, to somebody's sofa. You need to be sitting on somebody's sofa talking to somebody who got some paperwork on the wall.
That's it.
And you're not doing it.
And a lot of times also, because I go to a therapist too, but a lot of times if you just shut up and sit down somewhere and ask yourself, okay, what did I do play into this?
Oh,
them stupid questions.
They ain't gonna do that.
They ain't gonna do it.
They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that.
You to face you.
Yeah.
There's always somebody else. Our stuff did this to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Boy, that's that right there.
Because I definitely can relate to what you said. Because 2019, my mom died. Then my first cousin died 2 days later. They was in the funeral home same time, viewing the body. Then 2 months later, my dad died. And I had to be in charge of all of this. And where I had my dad's funeral at, because they couldn't have it in church because he was very popular, had it at our church. 2 months later, they had to do a comedy show right there. so I get what you said.
Yeah.
Your emotions all over the place. All over the place, dog.
Woo, that's
I mean, it's real, because I mean, Laugh said something to me, and he was just like, "Hey, Corwin, it don't mean that." He said, "Right now, it's just you just going through."
Yeah,
it's your turn.
It's your
turn. That's what I told him. It's your turn. We all have moments where it's your turn. You might have a great life, and up to this point, you might be 50, and you've never really had any major thing happen, and then it stuff start to happen. Well. Think about it from this. You had 50 years of nothing.
Yep.
So the fact that you got a bad year, you still winning.
Yeah.
Now you 50 and 1.
Yeah.
But you was 50 and 0. So you still make the playoffs.
That's still a good percentage.
You have to fight through. I know I had some adversity in my life, but 2019, wow.
Hey, I can
worst year. And on top of that, had tore this knee up. That had surgery on that knee.
Wow.
That
that's a bad year, Ma. That's a bad year right there. That's a bad year. 2009. Let's strike that off your calendar.
There was no dang, but Ma, and then you go right into COVID after that.
And I was just for the sake. And so you lose all your gigs, and I'm gonna get right into COVID.
Ooh, yeah, that's a bad look.
It was crazy.
So for me, I think I had a bad patch during COVID. Because comedy was still, it's everything. I mean, as it relates to it is a piece of who I am. You know what I'm saying? A large piece of who I am. And so COVID took that away from me.
Yep.
And so
out there.
And the thing about it is, it got worse because when I tried to turn to other things, COVID took them away too.
Yeah.
Because when COVID first started, you know, I wasn't going nowhere. I'm home all the time. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna start working out like crazy.
The gym closed.
Close the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, dog.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now I'm just here.
Mhm.
And when your life is built around a minimum of 5 days a week, being on somebody's stage,
Yep.
reaching and touching people 5 days a
right.
week,
Yep.
and I had to realize, like, dude, you dealing with a little depression right now.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
I honestly can say I was definitely dealing with some depression during COVID because it basically life turned upside down.
Yeah, well, most definitely.
And so, of course, you know, a lot of people caught that happened during COVID, but just me personally, I felt it. I think people whose job was to go out and be amongst people, I think we felt it more than other people because we could not do what we do. And then when you have something like us, our career, something that we love, that's our passion. So now you can't go interact with people. You can't enjoy what you like to do. And your passion basically is being taken away from you.
And your money.
And your money.
Mhm.
And your all of that. So yeah, so for me, I haven't necessarily, thank the Lord, I hadn't necessarily dealt with the major deaths like that. But COVID felt like I had died.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Most definitely.
It felt like I died because a piece of me just it couldn't function.
And I bought into the craziness of it to where I kind of at some point I stopped thinking about comedy. I started really paying attention, like what's going on? What's going on in the world? Like this, that, and that. So when we came out of COVID, I had really not had a comedy in mind for almost a year because I just was in the other stuff, and so it really stunned me because 2019 happened, and then 2020, and everything's going good. I get on the Martin Lawrence lit AF tour. I'm like, they gonna bring me back for some more. I'm like, this the beginning of March. First, that next week NBA shut down. Boom, everything done. I ain't touched another stage for a year. Yep, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
But you know, the crazy thing about it, everything we just said, I think it goes back to what Corin was saying, is happiness just being a moment situation.
Yeah.
It being a moment situation. We all three of us, we was in our moments.
Right.
And so our happiness was affected is affected by those particular moments. As opposed to latching onto the joy of it. Because the thing about it, yeah, it was COVID. We still was living.
Boy.
Yeah. Family was still healthy.
Yep.
Do you think
Still had a roof over your head.
Do you ever think it? Because like somebody told me, this is God's way of sending people down, and so you could just kind of reflect. I did a lot of reflection.
Oh,
I came out of COVID different, thinking differently about my career and life and stuff like that. So, and then when you moving and shaking and you going to gigs and you always got and COVID just made you sit your ass down.
Oh, most definitely.
Definitely.
You can reflect.
It's the thing that people don't consider, that God doesn't grow you in happy seasons. God grows you in difficult seasons.
Yeah.
It says it in the Bible. You know, that your faith will be purified through fire, through trial, through hardship. Yeah. That's when he grows you. And that's the whole thing. For me, March 8th, I'll never forget it. Getting a phone call from my mother, and she tells me my father had a stroke. In that very moment, and I don't say it like, I don't know if I didn't hear an audible voice say to me, but I just felt God say to me, Corwin, I'm about to humble you. And like, it was almost like, get ready to go on this ride. And it was a ride. I mean, because and yeah, it was a ride of my life. But the thing that I kept coming back to, he wouldn't let me leave him. Like, and I just kept coming back to, like, you're trying to get me to understand something.
Yeah.
And I just knew it in my gut of guts.
Right.
And so that just kept me for, it was him keeping me, because we was going through it. Like,
Yeah.
And so it was just really just him growing me, because what I realized is that I wanted to control my life more than I ever thought I did. And COVID taught us all you ain't got no control. So what you trying to hold on to it for?
Right.
You know, and I was probably a lot more selfish than I thought I was. You know, and so with my father having a stroke, never in my life did I ever think I would have to wipe my father's ass. Never in my life. And Marv, we had to wipe the butt of a man who didn't want it, but couldn't do it himself. So you're talking about humbling?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it just taught us like crazy.
Yep.
You know, and I think it does, like, going back to, but find those joyful moments.
Right.
You know, and being grateful for the little different things. And I didn't see it till later. I still had struggled. I'm still coming out of the struggle of all of that.
Yeah.
You know, but even I got a phone call today to just let me know, like, God saying, I told you, just wait, I got you.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'll tell you about that later on. But and so, but one thing that you brought up something that made me this therapist, I just heard him say it, but it makes so much sense now. He was like, the problem isn't happiness. The problem is that most of us don't know how to deal with grief.
Yeah, the opposite, because happiness that makes sense. Happiness is easy to deal with.
Yeah.
It's easy to deal with when everything going your way. That's easy to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's not. I get anxiety. My wife always, like, she be like, you're not allowing yourself to live in the blessings that the Lord get. Dude, I get nervous. Everything going too good, dog.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just, I don't know what that is. It make my skin crawl, bro. Like, because I don't gloat.
I don't work on that, Mark.
Yeah, I don't gloat. I don't gloat. My wife,
you got to gloat.
You don't pat yourself on the back or not. I don't know how to do that, because it seems like if I get too happy, here come the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I just, I'm just even killed, but it is difficult to marinate in for everything's going lovely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, okay, what's about to happen? Like,
I mean, but that's the same. But you're doing the same thing. Technically, you're doing the same thing that I was doing when writing that letter.
Yeah.
Because you're not even enjoying the good moments that are happening, because you like this. It can't last long, or if something
my
wrong.
wife get on me all the time. Bro.
Yeah, but Marv, how do you feel like you don't deserve the good part of it? You put in the work. You got the dedication, you got the talent. What makes you? What inside of you makes you feel like you don't deserve for the road to keep going? Yeah. What make you feel like the road gotta have a stop sign?
I'm grateful. I always thank God for everything. Just getting up in the morning, everything. I'm always grateful. But to sit there and kind of chest poked out, I don't know how to do that. That ain't in me. It make my skin crawl, bro. Like, I don't know how people do that. I'm envious of people who are able to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that shit. That's weird. That's weird to me. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I get it too.
I mean, because I know people like that, but it's also, I think that's part of being grateful, though, and that's a difference in boasting.
Yeah.
If you're boasting like you did it, and like, because one thing is, like, you were required to do the work, though God, you ain't gonna get the end result without Him, But boasting is like you're doing it without God, so that's a whole different thing. But it's okay to enjoy, what you worked hard for.
Yeah, I can enjoy it. I just you meet a milestone. Let's throw a party for you. Nah, man, none of that.
Because if we throw the party,
it's
gonna ruin everything.
Mom. Even though no parties for nothing. Mm-hmm. We gonna say a prayer, we gonna thank God, and we gonna move on to the next thing, and we not finna do none of that. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
I get it.
I mean, something to work through.
Yeah, it's something to work through. I get it. All right, fellas, I appreciate y'all coming through, talking about happiness, and hopefully our conversation, our stories, and what we share will help somebody out there. My goal with the podcast is, like I say, I said in the first episode, is to get to actualities. You know, that's why the title of the podcast is So That's How You Feel. Because a lot of people, they make their feelings facts, and feelings are not facts. Feelings are just feelings. And so so a lot of episodes, you know, and me and Corbin, we talk a lot. One of my big things, and me and Marv talk a lot too. My thing is always, and one of the things y'all both say about me, and I try to be this way, is that I see things for all the sides. I take into account my side, but I also take into account what the opposite side could be. Right. And so that's why I want to have conversations on the podcast that takes into account all of the sides of everything. So if we talking about something that might be the subject itself might be birth and liberal, that don't mean I don't want to talk about the conservative side of that too, because the conservative side, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't liberal. So, and that don't make the conservative side be less important or less true.
Right.
So that's what I want to do, is make sure all of the conversations today, these conversations, the last 2 weeks have been real strong, powerful conversations. That don't mean we ain't gonna talk about some ignorant stuff every now and then too. I'm just keep it 100. There's just gonna be some ignorant stuff too.
Ignorance has happened.
But you're right. I want to lay the foundation that no matter, even with the ignorance, we're gonna always you gonna get some out of it. Every episode, you gonna get some out of it. Even when we ignorant, you be like, oh, they was ignorant, but I felt that. So until the next episode, Corwin, Marvin, I appreciate y'all blessing me with your presence.
Let me tell you how I went from strip clubs to Walmart.